All right, guys. So, am I back, or are you hearing anything? Is something actually happening now? Because I really hope something's happening. Because if not, then fuck this. Just kidding. I'll figure it out. But seriously, I'm so bad. So I'm gonna wait 30 seconds to see if there's any activity on this bitch. Boom. I think it works. Boom. All right, cool. All right, everyone can hear me. So first things first, I'm going to add some people to this as time goes on for whoever wants to join my stream. So that will happen in due course. But before I bring everyone into this, this hangout, first I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to me. I'm not really that much of the kind of person that is going to go out of his way to, sort of heap praise on myself, which is kind of what I feel like I'm doing. But I do want to give you guys something, at least something a little, show my appreciation for all you guys that come and watch my videos on the daily. So I figured a stream would be cool. And so I've already done a face reveal, but not many people actually know about this because I have like over 100 videos now, and it was in one random video. So I'm actually going to do it again. And it's not that I don't reveal my face for any real reason, other than the fact that I just don't think that it's necessary. I don't think it, seeing me is that interesting. I actually kind of prefer the pictures in the background with the cool little editing effects or whatever. Yeah, first things first. Let's see if I click the right buttons. Probably not. Of course, my computer is slow as fuck. And then I click on my video editing program, and my computer nearly crashes. It took me 4 hours. It took me 4 hours to render that damn Gear 4th video. It just it took so long. I actually had to have my girlfriend upload it for me after it was finished because I was at work. All right, hang out. All right, guys. So this is Joy Boy right here. This is the real deal. Yeah, I don't really want to make a big deal about it, but yeah, I'm an actual real person, not a robot. I'm also not Asian, so therefore theory debunked, not Ichiro Oda either. And that can also be proved by how often I'm wrong. Although I am right sometimes, if not more than other people, but yeah. But so anyway, that being said, so now we want to get some people in here. But first, if you guys have any questions you want to throw out while we're getting this whole organized with, me sending links to people to get people to join this. You thought I was a pacifista. That's funny. Somebody watches Philip DeFranco. But yeah, so if you have any questions for me while I send links to people, I know that Nathan Law Company would like to join the stream. So Nathan, I'm going to send this stream on Oro for you to click on, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, we'll figure this shit out. I'm not too good of somebody who like talks on my own. I'm more feed off of other people. So I hope this isn't boring. Probably is boring. This comment section though. Nice mask, Oda. That's funny. No, I'm white as fuck, dudes. I'm so white. I'm not Asian. I don't even have an Asian accent. Therefore, it cannot be. Favorite devil fruit type. That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like Paramecia is probably the most diverse class. Not the strongest usually in most situations, but I think is most interesting. So probably my favorite class. I definitely don't like zones very much. It's so bland. Compared to, I don't know, the other types. And then Logia obviously probably has badass factor 9 times out of 10, but that's just given what it is.
Hey, man.
Oh, here we go. We got somebody in here. Can everyone hear Nathan Law Company, or is it just me? Because that happened last time.
Well, my mic is
wait
on.
30 seconds. Yeah. It was last time that I did this, it was due to me being a retard and then linking Google Hangout but not making it live. So I myself was live while I was also streaming with someone. So cool, we can hear. Do you think Zoro is capable of Conqueror's Hockey sooner or later? What do you think about that, Nathan?
Well, we don't know like what makes somebody able to get it, so I really don't know. But
That's true. We did see that one scene though with Monet and Zoro, where he kind of gave her like the evil eye, like the stink eye, and it was Conqueror's Hockey, like it was reminiscent of that, but not necessarily the real deal. It was definitely confusing. I also am judging this based off the anime more than I am the manga, because at that point in time I was sort of half in, half out of One Piece manga, and more so into anime. So I'm not the biggest expert on that particular scene.
hockey is pretty mysterious, you know. We see a lot of theories about it, but I'm not sure most of them are right.
Let's get right into the news. No news. Sorry, dude. Yo, do you think if Luffy ate one of Chopper's Rumble's balls, he'd have awakening? I actually do think that this, I haven't made a video on this topic because other people have pretty much speculated what I believe at this point in time. By the way, I find this background to be extremely distracting of me talking, so I'm going to turn it off now. You guys, face reveal over. Party's over. You can leave now. But yeah, so I actually do believe that. And the interesting thing about Chopper's awakening, or the Rumble Ball specifically, is that it allows him to do a lot of things with his zone fruit that normally wouldn't be possible. And so with this being said, it is possible that what he achieved when he goes into Monster Point is a form of awakening, because in that form he really resembles we don't know a lot about awakenings, but characters that we do know that have awakened, the guards at Impel Down. And he resembles them a lot, both in just how his power works. He just gets a lot stronger. And then just aesthetically how he's drawn as well. It is similar.
Okay, I get it, but like, how would it work for Luffy?
So that's probably the biggest question right now. Like, at this point in time, I'm more of the opinion that each, for the most part, especially when it comes to paramecia types, which sort of are the devil fruits which don't fit a particular category and thus are lumped into one, just kind of seems that way to me. But each one of them might have a unique way of achieving awakening, whereas perhaps zone and logias, which are really defined compared to paramecia types, would have, I guess, awakenings more similar to each other. So in the case of Chopper being a zone type user, then his awakening would be similar to other zone types. But when it gets to paramecia, where it's different, Doflamingo specifically is able to transform the world around him into strings, and then perhaps.
So you think Luffy would do this with rubber?
I mean, that's a possibility. But then it's also possible that Luffy's awakening is unique to his Gomu Gomu no Mi, which I personally would like, honestly, given that he's the main character, have some uniqueness about his awakening that isn't given to other characters necessarily. I've seen, there was a theory, it was a long time ago, I think it was from One World HD, but where he noticed that Gear 4th sort of bounced off the air, because his arms, like, it changes directions and stuff in ways that doesn't really make sense. Like, how does he make his arm bounce like that? And then we can see that as it moves, there's like little puffs of air or so as it changes direction. So maybe he's like literally changing the environment around plastic, and maybe in some way he's able to use the awakening of rubber to then bounce off of something like the sky. That'd be really intense. I'm not really sold on that idea. Obviously, awakenings are just so unrevealed. It's hard to be certain about anything, but that's a cool idea.
Yeah, well, like, I remember when I read the chapter, I used to think that Luffy used Skywalk like Sanji, because it was the same, like, little steam circles.
Yeah, exactly.
So
is there anybody in the chat that is looking to join in on this fun? I want to get some more people in here because both me and Nathan need a little bit more to feed off of.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anybody in the chat right now who I know, I'm not going to invite somebody that I don't know. Make yourself known. I hate the fact that we have to wait 30 seconds though to get a reply. Theo Rye. I wonder if he would. He comments on my videos a lot.
Yeah, me too.
He always has something something important to say.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you should tweet it.
I don't want to just tweet the link, but maybe.
No, like
YOLO.
not the link, but maybe you should propose to, because I assume you have a lot of other YouTubers who follow you, so perhaps they are not on YouTube right now and don't know about a stream.
This is where planning would have probably been preferred, but I just got off work and I'm so tired. I didn't sleep last night at all. Sometimes I get into like this whole like rhythm, especially when I'm making videos where I get like sidetracked. I get in the zone, and the next thing I know, it's like too late to actually legitimately sleep. So, 2 notifications. That was really quick. All right, Buggy wants in on this. Buggy the Clown.
Well, Marco, One Piece Theorist, is in the chat. Perhaps he wants to join.
Marco, if Marco would join, that would be hype, dude. I think honestly, Marco's probably my favorite theorist right now, other than myself.
Well, you guys like have a different style, you know.
It's true, but you know what's interesting about my take on theories is that I post a lot and I post a lot of theories, but whoa, we got something happen.
Yeah, I just joined. So what's up?
Nothing much. PK, how are you doing?
Is Marco joining?
I don't know. We'll see. Let's find him. But yeah, as I was saying, I do a lot of theories, but generally speaking, I'm really skeptical of a lot of the theories that actually come out, and so it's hard for me to find a legitimate theorist that says something that I can actually believe a lot of the time. And it's I don't have any preference for any particular people. It's just about the ideas as a whole, and Marco usually provides something.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Marco is that he provides evidence from the manga that you say, hey, how come I never saw this before? And just right there in the manga, which is really amazing how he finds those small details.
Right, exactly. Hey, Marco, I see you in the chat. Do you want to join in on this, or you want to be an onlooker? No pressure. But yeah, so anyway, let's deflect this for a little bit and let's talk about Cracker. That seems to be what pretty much everybody wants to talk about. And I, for the most part, explained my views, so I think the majority of people kind of see where I'm going with my thoughts. But what about you, Pirate King?
To your question, did you cover about how he probably is an awakened devil fruit?
I didn't talk about that. In fact, I just watched Cole's video, King of Lightning's video on the topic, where he zoomed in on the thing, and that was actually the first time that I really saw the evidence straight up,
yeah,
and it definitely appears that way.
I was thinking, is he an awakened devil fruit, or is this because it's a candy island, and the island itself is made out of candy, therefore it might have cracker? So, is it an awakening, or is it the island itself?
I don't think the island itself is made out of crackers. That doesn't seem right. Cracker to me doesn't seem like much of a candy anyway. So it seems like he's producing this cracker out of substances that weren't previously biscuits. So then that would essentially that would essentially be what Doflamingo did in a way. So I mean,
yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise if he's an awakened devil fruit, which really hypes the whole thing up. He might be actually on Doflamingo's level if we think about it.
I actually think I've gotten to the conclusion recently that he is stronger than Doflamingo. Just from what we've seen so far, it's really hard to gauge because we've had so little fight at this point in time. But given what we have been revealed, I think, I mean, first of all, he was able to damage Year 4th Luffy. I mean, that's not something that Doflamingo was able to do. Cracker was able to do. Now, did he catch Luffy off guard? Yeah. So does that play a role? Maybe. Probably. I'm not exactly sure. But then again, Luffy specifically comments on his haki, which he didn't do with Doflamingo, which suggests even if it isn't, you know, if Luffy didn't straight up say, oh, this is the strongest Haki I've ever faced, suggests that it's stronger than Doflamingo's.
You read the manga stream translation, didn't you?
Initially, yeah, that's what I read. That's pretty much what I read.
Yeah, that was a mistranslation. Luffy actually commented, said this is one of the strongest Hakis I've ever faced, but it's not the strongest Haki. So that was a mistranslation on manga stream's behalf.
Yeah, I think the actual translation was something like his Haki is too hard. That's like verbatim what he said.
Yeah, somewhat.
So like there's some maneuverability with that. Just like, you know, even if it's, you know, just by saying it's too hard kind of implies a sense that this might be the strongest, given that he's never really brought this up before in any other fights. But at the same time, it doesn't explicitly state it, so then you can't get on that hype train quite so fast. But then also we see with just in general, you know, Cracker actually has something to stop Gear 4th as well, which Doflamingo didn't have. So, you know, even if I think that Gear 4th is stronger than Cracker, his biscuit shields or whatever the fuck he uses to like stop Luffy's attack is actually, as of last chapter, working. Like it's actually making progress. His defense is slowly making an advance on Luffy, despite him using
that is true.
the Gatling, whatever, the Gear 4th version of Gatling. So definitely could be stronger. This is probably where I'm leaning at this point in time.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I don't think Cracker is as durable as Doflamingo. Like, he said that he doesn't like pain, so you can probably just one punch knock him. That's all Luffy needs, probably.
A side note, Marco, I sent you the link via Twitter. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. There's so much hate. There is like a ridiculous amount of hate for this idea. You know, there's people. I think a lot of people agree with it. But those that disagree with the idea that, you know, pain is Cracker's weakness, man, they go fucking hard against it. Like death threats and shit like that. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff. People don't want to believe that Cracker is a little bitch. But I mean, just by saying like, I'm afraid of a prick of a needle, doesn't like just automatically make you at least weak-willed, I would think. Something along those lines.
I mean, those are probably all Zoro fanboys, because, you know, Zoro is the person that likes to like injure himself without caring, really.
Right.
So most likely Zoro fanboys. Hey, what's up, Marco?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo, Marco! Wow, in the flesh.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while since I've been showing my face in the community, so thanks for the invite, for the invitation. And sorry for my bad English. As you know, I'm Brazilian. I've never been abroad, and my English sucks. But I can at least understand you. So
that's all we need. I mean, Pirate King Buggy, where are you from as well? Like you have an accent.
I'm from Canada, my friend, but I'm not originally from this country.
Yeah, see.
Like I'm Middle Eastern.
That's one thing that's really cool about One Piece. Like despite the fact that One Piece is from Japan and I'm from America, you're from Canada and you know, someplace else. Marco's from Brazil. I think Nathan Law is from France. Is that right, Nathan?
Well, no, for me it's like Buggy. Like, I am from France, but I recently moved to Canada.
But yeah, like we're from all over the world, and yet, you know,
yes,
like
it's really amazing.
If you get Gamma is from Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So we get all the continents. It's really nice to see it. Even the viewers, you know, when I checked my viewers, most of them are from the US, something like 20%. But then goes to Malaysia, Indonesia, lots of places that I didn't have the notion that our channels go to all these places, you know. It's something very cool to have in mind, how it's worldwide.
Yeah, and that's really beautiful thing about One Piece, because not only in the story that it really encourages that people all around the world are friends and stuff, like they want to be Nakama, but also like in real life it applies to the real life concept as well, which is like something beautiful in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a lot of people from Philippines who are subscribed to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so Marco and And Nathan, what are your thoughts about Cracker?
Oh, I don't get the hype. Seriously.
Like, what so? Like, explain.
Oh, like, okay, he's strong, whatever, you know, but like, I don't get it why it's such a big deal. Like,
Okay,
I
Nathan,
think
like,
at this point, it's I think Cracker should be the standard of the villains we're gonna face. You know, like he's just like one strong guy among the others. Like we're talking about the Yonko cruise right now. You know,
Right.
so
that is
I don't know. Like
correct.
comparing him to Doflamingo, well, like I get why people do this, but I don't think it's the right approach of things.
Well, I mean, a cool thing to keep in mind is that Cracker was just one of Big Mom's Sweet Commanders, one of initially 4. So that you can say pretty much that there was 4 that are in the ballpark of the same strength as Cracker. And then given that Big Mom sends Cracker after the 4th one, perhaps suggests that there's 2 others that are potentially slightly stronger than Cracker as well. And then that's not including the other Yonko crews as well and who could potentially match up. That's a lot of characters that are as strong as Cracker. And then if we assume Luffy's going to be the strongest pretty much at the end of the story, then at that point in time, Cracker would be kind of fodder.
So yeah, maybe it's just the introduction, like to the new power level standard.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Another thing that, it seems like a lot of people are doing right now that I'm not really buying into is that people are so sold that Luffy is screwed in this situation. But that's like what Oda does. Every single arc, with every single villain, he tries his best, for the most part, to convince you that something, that there's no chance of victory. Even if it's something like Luffy versus, Blano, where at the end of the day, Blano stood no chance whatsoever against Luffy. But we were led to believe that that fight was going to be really hard up until we got there. And so with Cracker, and there's so much more fighting left to do in Whole Cake Island. There's just a ton left to do. Luffy can't blow his load in versus Cracker. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Well,
If I may add,
my thoughts about Cracker, actually, I don't agree with Nathan. I really am in the hype for Cracker. I think everybody in the community always underestimated Big Mom. She was always elected as the weakest Yonko, and people never give a damn about Big Mom and the commanders. But now we're seeing that they are strong, and you can't be a Yonko and be weak and have weak allies. I mean, Whitebird, Blackbird, Shanks, Kaido, they weren't able to take Big Mom's territory, so she needs to be strong and she needs to have strong characters. But we've never seen them, so we've always underestimated Big Mom. So now Oda is slapping us for underestimating Big Mom. So I am the hype for not only for Cracker but for the other Sweet Commanders. And about Cracker character design, I really love it.
what just happened?
Marco, you froze.
Marco froze. well, rest in peace.
Sorry, I did for a second. But what I was getting from what you were saying before I left was that Big Mom was pretty much like hated by the community, but she's still a Yonko. And I think at this point it's pretty much confirmed that like for instance, this is a great example of it. In order to take out Kaido, everyone is speculating that Luffy would need pretty much the entire world to take on Kaido, everybody and their mothers. And so for Big Mom, Luffy comes to her island with half of his forces, and some people actually speculated that he would in some way defeat Big Mom during this arc. It just doesn't make sense to me. The difference between what people think about Kaido and Big Mom.
Welcome back, Marco.
Yeah, but actually my internet sucks and it's raining, so my internet is even worse. But as I was saying about the character design of Cracker, it's really awesome. Oda is always showing us how can he innovates in terms of character design. I mean, there's any character that is alike Cracker. He's very original, and I think it's very awesome. I don't know what you think about Cracker design, but I really liked it.
I think it was traditional Oda, doing something different that nobody expected. That I think a lot of people outside of the One Piece fan base would frown upon as saying, it doesn't look badass. In fact, even some people who do follow One Piece thought the same thing. But this is just one of the reasons why I really like One Piece, honestly.
Yep.
Well, if
Yeah.
I may add, Nathan, you can go first.
Okay. So just to answer like Marco, I wasn't part of the people who underestimated Big Mom. Actually, I think she's my favorite Yonko so far. Like even before Whole Cake, because I really like Alice in the Wonderland, the books.
Yep.
And the thing about the only thing I liked about Cracker is the devil fruit. Like it's again, Oda is very creative, and that's something I can't. I have to agree with. But when people are comparing him to Doflamingo, I feel like people only look at a strength and not at like character relevance for the story.
Yep.
And I think like even though Cracker is strong indeed, he's not gonna be such a big character in the story. At least that would be quite surprising. I think like Joy Boy said, he's like the Blue NO for Whole Cake Island. Like he's the guy Luffy's gonna defeat in a few chapters to hype us for the arc. You know.
That's
Yes.
that's honestly what I'm thinking at this point. I mean, it like just try and imagine at this point in time, if Cracker is stronger than Luffy and somehow defeats Luffy, then what's next after that? And for me, I've actually spent time thinking about this as a possibility. I just can't see at what would happen at that point, which could actually lead to the Straw Hats saving Sanji. If Luffy goes all out, gets defeated, is pretty much handicapped for the rest of the arc, and we know at some point he's going to save Sanji anyway. I just don't see those events unfolding, especially with, this is an entire arc that we're going to. Luffy should then fight multiple characters in the.
What happened with Joy Boy's audio?
I thought it was my internet that was, but it seems like it was Joy Boys.
What's wrong with your internet, guys? I hope mine is fine at least.
Yeah.
Well,
Until
he comes back, I might want to answer his question. That thing, like, I don't necessarily think that Cracker is stronger than Luffy, but, against every opponent Luffy has ever faced, he always somewhat struggled. Even against, like, people like Don Chinjiao or even, like, people like Caesar Clown, like, there's always a process of struggling before Luffy beats them down, right? So I don't necessarily think that Cracker is stronger than Luffy, but he is strong. And I think that Luffy.
Go ahead.
And I do think that Luffy will beat him in the end. Hey, welcome back, Joy Boy.
Wait. So I haven't been here this entire time, for real?
No, what happened is that your audio cut off, and I had to speak when there was no voice coming from your end.
Oh. Well, YOLO. This explains the comments that I was reading. Joy Boy will rise again. I was like, well, that's nice. Makes sense now.
The comment section is pretty funny.
But, I totally lost my train of thought. What was the last thing you said?
I said that against every character Luffy has ever fought, that he had to struggle somewhat before he beats them down.
It wouldn't be a good story if Luffy just trounced on everyone all the way up through the story. Like yes. we got a little bit of that in Fishman Island, just to sort of establish the difference between post time skip Luffy and pre time skip Luffy. But now we're deep in post time skip. Like we're pretty deep in here, and at this point in time, that kind of writing is not going to appeal to the fans. Oda can't be allowed to do that, so we need some struggle.
Yeah, Oda is not One Punch Man's author. Like how he just beats everybody in one punch and stuff. No, these are two different stories. Oda's not gonna pull One Punch Man on us. There has to be some sort of fight before Luffy can continue his journey.
Right.
Guys, a quick quiz. Who do you think will win this fight between Luffy and Cracker? Well, actually, it probably is already over because they have passed. So, who won? Was it Luffy? Was it Cracker? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think I missed something. How do you guys know that the fight is over in the manga?
So there's a mini time skip within the last chapter. So by the time that we get to Big Mom and when she's talking to her hat, it says the morning, like the morning after or something like that. And then so when we see Cracker fight Luffy, it's actually the nighttime. And so what we're led to believe there's a time skip of at least a couple hours, potentially like 4 or 5 hours. And so if Luffy is using Gear Fourth and there's a time limit for Gear Fourth, then we should assume that by the point in time that we get to Big Mom, Luffy's Gear Fourth would have run out. And if he lost his Gear Fourth and Cracker wasn't defeated, we should assume that Luffy lost. So by this logic, it should be at this point in time the fight's over. Also, fights versus with Luffy don't last hours, typically speaking, anyway.
Okay. I missed that.
I didn't notice that either. That's amazing that you're telling me that right now.
Yeah. Side note. I first saw that on Sawyer Seven Mage's review of the chapter, so that's not necessarily my idea, but I definitely believe it. And so, with this being said, if Cracker is and this fight is over, I've already established my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts, Nathan and Buggy? I think you pretty much already said this, but do you have anything more to add?
No, I'm good. Let the others say.
Well, about me, it's a complicated situation because it's just as we had with Jack and Zoe. In one side, if we had a fight between Jack and Luffy or Jack and Zoro, well, Jack can't be defeated because he will be used in one arc, so defeating Jack at that time wouldn't make sense. But at the same time, Jack can't win because if he wins, he would kill them all. Right now we have some kind of the same situation because Luffy can't lose to Cracker. It would be stupid. Even if Cracker would, share his life, but Luffy will have at a certain point in the story to defeat Big Mom, to defeat Kaido, so he can't lose to Cracker. But at the same time, showing Cracker in that awesome, badass way, just for him to be defeated in one chapter would be stupid. We not even saw the final fight itself. So my guess is that they were kind of in a tie, but Luffy Gear 4 ended. Luffy was weakened, and maybe when he was about to make the final blow. And then, by that, Cracker took him and he's probably going to send him to Big Mom, or maybe at a certain point Nami was able to save him. I don't know. So that's my guess, but it's really complicated to make provisions. It's such an open matter. I don't know about your thought, guys.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things to consider. Personally, I think if I were to choose which idea I like best, I like the idea that includes the possibility that this whole thing between Cracker and Luffy, what happens next, is completely unpredictable, whatever that might have been. Whether that's, Luffy didn't actually beat him, Cracker did, but then, somehow somebody saved the day, or, whatever might have occurred. I like that idea most just because, personally, although I like to spoil myself, that's kind of the whole point of making theories, is to try and predict the future. At the same time, when you get to that awesome moment that you didn't see coming, you're like, that was amazing. So I hope that's the case. But as from the details that I can see right now, it just logically speaking, if several hours have passed, and if Cracker had won the battle, then we should expect that Cracker would have informed Big Mom in some way, or the homies as well informed Big Mom in some way of Cracker's win. With that not being the case, it kind of suggests that Cracker is knocked out. And then as far as the homies are concerned, there's a possibility that Nami now, in a way, controls the homies, because they specifically asked, or she specifically asked, who do you fear most, Big Mom or Cracker? And they replied, Nami. So potentially, then that cuts off sort of the network feed that Big Mom has for observing the events in the forest, and so we have Cracker knocked out. the homies terrified of Nami, and several hours passing with Big Mom not knowing what happened potentially. But again, as you say, if you really dig down deep into all the potential possibilities, it's very convoluted.
So you guys, your thoughts, Nathan and Buggy? Are they on the stream?
Yeah,
Who,
well,
me? I'm here, dude.
So do you have any thoughts about concerning this theme?
Nope.
Wait,
You can
like-
take it from here. We got nothing so far.
That's funny. I can talk all day, guys. Pretty much the stream is Joy Boy talking with people listening.
Well, I mean, it is your stream, right?
That's so funny.
So actually, I have a question, like for other One Piece YouTubers that I often ask myself is about what you said, Joy Boy, about spoiling yourself with theories. Like, do you enjoy One Piece less since you got into theories? Like, is it like less exciting to read when you get something?
Okay, so there's truth to this, and then there's things that aren't right at the same time. So first of all,
I'm just asking.
Yes, reading it is less exciting if I've already predicted what's going to happen. So, for instance, if I had never been in the community and read it sort of like shotgunned all of the Zoe arc and the whole Cake Island arc up until this point, and we got to the point to where Big Mom revealed her devil fruit powers, at that point in time, I probably would have been blown away with just like how awesome her abilities could really be. But with that being said, with all the sort of getting in the theory community, etc., we for the most part predicted what Big Mom's powers would be weeks before it actually was revealed, and at the same time you sort of handicap how much enjoyment you get out of it, because at the time that you predict it, it's just a theory, so you can't like 100% get behind it, and then when it's finally revealed, you're like, okay, well, I kind of knew this the entire time. But at the same time, I get a huge thrill out of trying to predict the future and then potentially being right. Just like reading the next chapter to see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. That's really, I probably get more thrill out of that than I do reading One Piece. And I get a ton of enjoyment out of reading One Piece, which is probably why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So pros and cons on each side for sure.
Well, the thing about the One Piece theories, which are like, we know that One Piece always goes on breaks, right? So, in my opinion,
Right.
theories are like somewhat filler, unofficial fillers for until the next chapter comes out. That's how
Exactly. It gets your One Piece fill, since it's not released, at every second and possible moment that you could want to see the next chapter.
Yeah, if it's correct, then wow, it's correct, right? You get excited. But even if it's not correct, it's still a possibility, and it's still like some sort of fan service, fan fiction sort of thing that you can give the viewers.
Well, in my opinion, we can only really enjoy One Piece in 100% if we make part of a One Piece community, because it's impossible to see all the references and all the stuff that's going. I mean, we have so many foreshadows and so many details. I remember the first time that Koala reappeared. Most of One Piece readers didn't remember that Koala was the girl from Fishman Island, and it happens because One Piece is quite slow. So I mean, there's no way that without a One Piece community we would remember things for 10 years, 15 years ago. So I think we can only really enjoy One Piece when we make part of a certain community that are always sharing theories and sharing thoughts. So that's my opinion. When I started, not exactly making videos, but when I started watching Alpha Chulate and The Monkey Business, Fury 2, Flying Panda, when I really started watching these guys, my life has changed. It was really special to see how many people enjoyed One Piece and how they share theories. I mean, One Piece is not actually a popular anime in Brazil, so I don't have friends here who I can talk about One Piece. I have actually only one friend that I can talk about One Piece. So when I've discovered the YouTube community, so many guys talking about One Piece, and then I read a chapter and I go to Sawyer, I go to Roger's base to see their thoughts and share my thoughts. When I've done my channel to share my original thoughts and other guys communicating with me. This is what makes One Piece special. So my opinion, we can only really appreciate One Piece in 100% if we have a community supporting us. Otherwise, it's impossible.
No, I
have
totally
to
agree.
with you.
There's, speaking for me personally, sorry, Buggy, you can go after me. Speaking for me personally, I actually don't know anybody who's as into One Piece as I am. My girlfriend, who I live with, she also watches One Piece, but she's actually more like on the anime side than she is on the manga side, so I read the manga, I'm way ahead, and then she constantly gets spoiled. And so we can talk about One Piece, but not at the same level as, I really want to talk about One Piece. And the same applies to any of my other friends that perhaps watch One Piece, but I'm in balls deep. I'm super big into the One Piece community right now. And so, with that being said, you guys, the community as a whole, fulfill a need that I have to talk about One Piece that can't really be achieved any other way.
That's an honor, dude.
You're welcome.
It's also cool that we kind of cheer for each other. I remember when it was confirmed that Flying Panda's theory about Sanji being from a family of assassins and he would have two brothers, Ichiji and Iji. It was quite old, something like more than a year ago. When it got confirmed, it was, oh my fucking gods, everybody went to his page to praise him and stuff like that. So we really make friendship in the community. Well, I don't know if the guys in the chat use Twitter, but who knows us from the Twitter, we're always talking to each other and talking about One Piece and sharing ideas. So it's really a community, and it's what makes One Piece special. I mean, I know we have communities for Pokemon, we have communities for Naruto, we have communities for, a bunch of animes, but One Piece is different. One Piece is much more rich in terms of content, in terms of intensity, in terms of drama. We don't have separate arcs. It's a One Piece. The story is a One Piece. So One Piece is special, and I really believe that after I've done my channel and after I started with all the community, that it made my One Piece experience much more special. Now, I even bought a bunch of some figures. I have plenty of figures of One Piece, even a Sun Eagle. So,
Yeah, no, totally agree. Let's go back onto the sort of theory discussion realm here for a second. But I saw somebody who wants to know if Luffy got a second Devil Fruit, what would it be? And I want to first say that I don't think that Luffy would ever obtain a second Devil Fruit. But ignoring that, what do you guys think? What would be the coolest, or maybe your preference for a second Devil Fruit potentially?
So does it have to be a Devil Fruit that already exists,
It
or
could be
can we
anything.
make up one?
Let's not handicap ourselves, or else we're not going to have anything to say.
Can I say he doesn't get one and just end it right there, in my opinion?
For sure.
A second Devil Fruit.
Yeah, second Devil Fruit. I always wondered, so we have Blackbeard, right? We have Blackbeard who can consume multiple Devil Fruits. So what if Blackbeard, in the realm of just theoreticals, first consumed a rubber fruit, just like Luffy's fruit? He obtained it rather than Luffy, and then his second Devil Fruit was like Enel's lightning Devil Fruit. How exactly would that work? Would that just break the game? Would that break the system?
What happened with Marco?
Say what?
I think someone's robbing Marco's house.
I was actually taking my battery because, my notebook is going out of battery.
Oh shit.
I got you.
So what do you think? Like, Luffy's gonna get a Air Paramecia or Logia, and then he becomes I don't know. Maybe he gets his father's Devil Fruit, Monkey D. Dragon. I don't know what Devil Fruit he is, but many people speculate it's air. So I don't know, rubber and air, unlimited air. What do you think?
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, given how Luffy uses air right now, that would be extremely useful. Instead of blowing, go ahead.
At this point, I sound like a really bad theorist, but it just.
We're trolling.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny about just theories as a whole is, I have a lot of ideas that if I brought up to you guys in the stream, a lot of people would be like, Joy Boy, yo, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're being retarded. Like, go back to how you normally are. But a lot of the ideas that I have that I've already made videos on, if I did the same thing in this sort of format where I didn't properly explain myself, you'd probably say the same thing. It's not with like the proper explanation that it would actually make sense. So.
Actually, as we were talking about devil fruit and you've talked about blackbird, actually I've got an idea some weeks ago that maybe I'd like to share with you because maybe in your format of videos it would be much better to make a video about it than in my format. But actually, thinking about Big Mom's potential in terms of devil fruits, doesn't it make more sense for Big Mom to be the one that can manipulate devil fruits powers than Blackbird? We don't know how Blackbird does what he does, but thinking about Big Mom, if she can manipulate souls, well, in a certain way, devil fruits are souls, are an entity inside this fruit that even when we see the chart of the devil fruit, I don't remember which arc was that. I think it was in Water 7. I don't remember. When we have a devil fruit, the entity, the spirit or something inside the devil fruit goes to the body. When the body dies, the spirit goes away until it finds another body. So it's kind of a soul of an entity. Doesn't it make sense for Big Mom to be able to manipulate the souls? Much more sense than Blackbird, actually. Also, we've seen pretty strange stuff similar to that. I mean, with Lost Devil Fruit, with the Ope Ope no Mi, he was able to change the personality of people. She put Tashigi inside. I forgot the name of Smoker, and Smoker inside Tashigi. No, it was pretty strange, but it happened. What if Big Mom, in a certain way, has the power to change the devil fruits because they are kind of souls? What do you think about it, guys?
That honestly kind of blows my mind, just like thinking about it, because I mean, I definitely, it's so hard to be sure about devil fruits and just all the properties behind them because it's really mysterious at this point. But I definitely agree with the thought that it could potentially be souls sort of contained within these vessels that travel between people and then back into fruit to become the devil fruit again. And with Big Mom's ability to potentially or pretty much at this point proven that she can extract these souls and then put them in different places. My initial thought to this could she potentially remove somebody's devil fruit ability or the soul of the devil within them from somebody and then give it to somebody else? That's like kind of like a mind blowing thought. Honestly, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but the off the radar on just like hype factor.
So
I was supposed to put a link to a picture in the chat, but as I'm not an admin, I think I can't do this. I will put it here in our chat, and Joy Boy, please, can you put this image in our chat?
Yeah. Oh, of the scene in which they show the devil fruits.
Yes,
that's
we
Rosa.
can clearly see a kind of spirit or something. I don't know how to call it, but the fact is we have a kind of a soul in there, so it's quite mysterious.
Do you know what chapter?
I don't really know. I don't remember which chapter is this guy from, actually.
It's in Dressrosa where Frankie and Luffy are talking about the Meronomi.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's in the beginning of the Dressrosa arc, when they're talking about the Mera. Okay.
So actually about what, like, I already had that idea, and actually I was talking about it, like, do you know Frankie G from Ora Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay, so we often discuss theories together, and we were talking about this idea that like devil fruits were like work with souls, and like we have a really long thread about it. So maybe if you're interested about this idea, I can add you to this conversation because we talk about it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Marco, do you have an Orange Jackson account? You should if
No,
you don't.
actually, the only forum that I'm in is Marineford, but actually, I never took part because I've been really, really busy. I badly upload videos, and but I really like the hype of watching the videos, and I like the art itself. You guys know how I give importance to the music and the presentation itself. So I like this kind of art. And reading is kind of cool, but it's not the same hype. The thing I really do is when I Google, I don't know, I have an idea in mind. I need to see if it's original, and I need to make my research. So I Google it, and usually it kind of drives me to some forums. Then I can see if my idea is original or not. So kind of it, but I don't really read it. Maybe one day I make some Aura Jackson or I don't know, some other forum account, but
Yeah,
today I don't feel really like doing that.
yeah, I understand the feeling. I used to be. That's where I used to spend a lot of my time was on the forums. And then as soon as I got my YouTube channel, whatever, there's only so much discussion that you can have at one per day. And it's really taxing for me to go make my videos, reply to all the comments, and then go into Orange Jackson as well. So I've been not very active.
Actually, I have a question for you guys that make part of forums. Is it worth in terms of originality? Because the impression I have is that we have so much of the same stuff. I mean, always Dragon's Devil Fruit, and then you'll see it. So I think he has a Logia because a Wind Logia because it seems it's kind of hard to see something original. Actually, in Marineford, I've got a very original idea that I've done a video about the Power Rangers. I really love this video because I saw that Power Rangers and Kaido. What the fuck? What is this guy thinking? And then when I saw this Fury, and it kind of made sense. It was somewhat nice. The idea was cool. But then I've done some research, and I found much more interesting stuff surrounding the theme. So I've done a video it's actually pretty popular. Every time people talk about the Power Rangers Fury, I think Panda loves this Fury too. So this is kind of funny. But at most the Furies are very I don't know. Brooke's crew was killed by the Vingsmokes. Something we are always used to. Is it really worth it, guys? I want to hear it from you.
So what's your question? Your question is like, what do you think of originality? Is that your question?
In forums, because the impression I have is that people do too many of the same stuff. Many theories that are so alike to each other, and theories that we've been talking about so many times without really giving freshing ideas. I think people get too involved in the same theories that people can't think outside of the box. That's the impression I have.
Yes, that is true, Marco. But I mean, I don't think there's any original One Piece theories anymore. Like, it's really hard to be original these days because we all read the same manga, we all read it from the same author. We might all come to the same conclusions in the end of the day. And like, for example, if a big YouTuber that has a lot of influence said something, a lot of people might take that into consideration more than anything else as well. So in terms of originality, like, it's really hard to bring something new to the table. Like, I know you've done it a lot of times and you were successful, so that's like props goes to you, Marco, for doing that. But like, let's be honest. Do you think people can actually bring original theories all the time to the community? It's pretty hard, don't you think?
All the time, I think it's difficult, and but I really think that people can make original stuff mainly for reading the manga from the start. Everybody that tells me, Marco, what do I do to become a theorist or something? I say, read the manga, because every time we've seen a new arc. When we go to the start, to the beginning, and read it all the the story again, you know, foreshadows and all the kinds of stuff comes to our mind, goes to our eyes. So, you know, I think we can be somewhat more, you know, original, and that's what makes the community cool, because watching something that the whole world watches, and you know, sometimes we get some fears, we see some fears that, oh my fucking god, how I've never noticed that, and that feeling is the best possible. I mean, we've been I've already shout out Rizzo, One Piece theories. From time to time, he makes theories that are so original that I think, so seriously, how had he done that? And actually, he's done a theory about Aladdin from Jinbei Crew being married with a daughter from Big Mom, and you know, he called it right. Aladdin is really married with Pralini. I don't remember the name of that.
Yeah, fine.
But
So you know, it was something quite original. The argument was solid. He used mega data and he called it right. You know, so I think we can do this kind of stuff, but we need to read the manga and think a little by ourselves. When we're too forums, sometimes we get the different feeling.
But Marco, you should also consider something. We are YouTubers who post theories on YouTube as well, so there's always people gonna be judging us on our theories and the quality of our theories we post, right? And
Sure.
I think most of the time, what happens is many people are scared. Like, oh, I have a really good idea for a theory, but they can't post it because they fear that it might not sound as good, or it might sound as appealing to the viewers as you want. So many theorists, in my opinion, like when we go on forums, like we speak our minds, right? Because no one's judging us. So on YouTube, like I think the theorists are limiting themselves to
Because
a
of
few ideas.
judgment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah, I think that way too. I think the people are somewhat afraid of rage. So I agree with it. But actually, the One Piece community as a whole, I think it's very kind. You know, sometimes we have lots of viewers that are always kind in the comments, even when we are not that good in some videos. You know, everybody have videos that are good and some videos that are not that good. And as a whole, I think the viewers are always kind. The only way for the viewers not to be kind is when you hate them or something like that. But as the community, almost everybody is kind of in good terms with the viewers. You know, that doesn't happen frequently.
Buggy has a lot of kind subscribers.
Well, that's my fault for basing my channel off of trolling.
So Braga's here, huh?
What's poppin', yo? What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Brago?
Welcome to the stream, Brago.
Back like
Yo,
You back?
Side note, guys. So, Brago, how come you didn't shout out your theory channel or whatever? I just found it on my own, but it's still.
What?
Like,
Brago has a theory channel?
He has
Well,
a
we'd be
theory channel.
surprised.
It's actually it's a good stuff. Like for real. Anybody who's watching the stream right now, if you like my videos, there's like 100% chance you'll like Brago's videos. But I can't believe this dude didn't shout himself out.
Yeah, I was trying to. I don't know. I planned on making a video about it, but I didn't get the chance to. So I was like, all right, whatever. And plus, I basically made that channel because of copyright strikes. I already got a copyright strike on that channel too, and I didn't want to get a copyright strike on the main channel per se. So I just did that.
Why'd you get a copyright strike for what video?
I think it was 836. 836. I used a panel from it. And
Yo, for real. Again, this applies to everyone. I have posted a ton of videos. I have yet to receive a copyright strike, knock on wood. And so the one thing that I'm sure that I'm purposefully doing and trying to eliminate copyright strikes is do not post. Absolutely just don't do it. Don't post an image from the chapter until it's officially released. I've posted a ton of manga panels throughout the course of my videos, none of which have been struck down because they're all older or whatever. But I see with King of Lightning and stuff, his live reactions used to get a strike before he moved them, I guess, until Monday, till it's officially released. And I think it's just straight up for showing any manga panels before it's officially released. With that being said, it's like you're really no different, or it's like same conceptually as being like Manga Panda who steals it in the first place. You're posting a stolen image, and so that's sort of the basis for the copyright strike.
Yeah, and many
So
people
just
do not
FYI.
realize that. Like, here's the thing: when you get a copyright strike, those companies never tell you what's wrong, right? So I think many theorists come into this community like they're blind about these facts, right? Like you come in, you don't know this stuff, and which forces people to quit the theory community. Like, I know a lot of theorists has quit because of this fact of the copyright. It comes so easy without you even knowing why.
Copyright sucks, right? I mean, there's one of my videos. It was not a strike, you know, but in one of my videos, it can't be seen in Germany because, you know, during 10 seconds, I use the sound of a wave, you know, a wave in the beach.
That's banned in Germany.
10 seconds.
No waves in Germany.
Because of this 10 seconds of the sound of waves, you know, it's so stupid and so. No, I hate this copyright stuff. You know, it's a fucking wave. I can go to the beach and record it myself. You know, I'm from Brazil. I can go to the beach in the side here and record it myself. So it's so stupid. Oh my god.
How do you guys feel about the new thing that's happening though? The monetization about indecent language and stuff.
It doesn't affect us.
I think it's overhyped. Now I know a lot of people who like, if I say it's overhyped, will say, well, it's because it's not affecting you, because it's not affecting me. But I like really think, like, from the information that I gather about this situation, there's some really fucked up elements of this. And although YouTube is in the right to remove monetization from any video in which they decide to do so, then that's something that they can do. Like, that's their privilege. They're the owner of the company. But people are like I see a bunch of just clickbait videos like, oh, my channel is done, oh, should I just quit YouTube, or like whatever the fuck they say. And they have like 2 videos demonetized out of the thousands or hundreds that they've made. Yeah. And then we also don't know when it was demonetized. It was probably or potentially after the point in time in which they made the majority of money off the video. There's only a very few select channels that are seemingly getting hit, like all their videos are getting hit with demonetization. So, you know, regardless, if you're getting 2 videos hit, and out of all the ones that you make, and it doesn't happen very often, I don't think that it's really that big of a deal. And at the same note, if this potentially adds, like if there's potential people out there that are looking to advertise on YouTube but are hesitant because of what YouTube is, essentially, then this would then benefit everyone who wants to monetize on YouTube indirectly, because then you would have additional sources of advertisement that wouldn't have been there until this rule was established and these videos were getting taken down. I don't know if that's the case. Only time will tell, but that's just my thoughts on what's going on there. But I do think it's stupid in general to just, especially the whole cursing thing. That's fucking stupid. I'm gonna make sure I curse at least 5 times every video.
You can't make sex jokes either, so you can't show nudity either.
Well, it seems like his video is geared towards like rape and suicide and stuff like that. Which
exactly.
That doesn't really make sense in my opinion, because you know this platform has multiple advertisers. Like, you got people that advertise from kid-friendly stuff all to beer and stuff like that, right? So I mean, of course, the toy companies like Disney and stuff like that, they won't advertise on somebody that as the same person that the beer companies will advertise on, right? So, like, how are you not gonna curse on a video that you're sponsored by, like, a beer ad or something like that?
Now,
doesn't make sense in my opinion.
That's just absurd. I don't cursing. I don't get that.
Yeah, no, that's the most, well, one of the most ridiculous. Also, the fact that they're specifically targeting people who report on the news. Like, you can't talk about anything controversial, and they don't define what that is. Like, what is controversial? Is controversial whatever you decide it to be? Like, very vague, you know, that's just.
This is the problem.
But anyway,
so vague.
You can go, Buggy.
No, I just want to say it's vague. That's all. You can go, Marco.
But you know, all the system of copyright strikes are so stupid. I mean, copyright striking videos reviewing One Piece, even if it shows some few panels, it doesn't, you know, substitute reading the manga or buying the manga. And you know, this is so stupid because, you know, after I've started watching One Piece videos from Panda, from Roger's Base, from all the guys, my One Piece experience improved, and I have multiple official products here, multiple uh, figures. I have One Piece manga. I'm planning to buy Burning Blood. I want to see the movie, and probably if I wasn't watching videos from One Piece in YouTube, I would never buy these official products. So it's
Yeah,
stupid. I mean,
that's true.
YouTubers work for free, or sometime, or earn a little money from monetization, but they are working in divulgation from the One Piece. So it's like some guys that are working for you. I can't understand it actually. People expend a lot of money with marketing, but when guys in YouTube do marketing for their products, they want to stop it, and it's stupid. Sorry, it's
Well,
fucking
I
stupid.
don't think the marketing stops One Piece, Marco, because in the One Piece Arab community, like I know there's a One Piece YouTuber who has like 150K subs on YouTube that's Arabic, right? And they managed to bring Film Gold to the Emirates, like to where they live. Like the premiere of the Film Gold was over there. They managed to
Oh, what?
influence. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They managed to influence the Toei Animation to make the premiere outside of Japan. Like the Film Gold premiere was actually in the United Emirates States. So I'm saying like the marketing companies love to work with the communities on YouTube.
Yeah, so my 2 cents on this, as far as like what Marco said earlier, which is like, why do they have this whole copyright system? It doesn't make a ton of sense. It's to prevent those people that would legitimately infringe on someone's copyright. Because if YouTube allowed these videos to exist, like for instance uploading entire episodes of a TV show, or the entire manga of released beforehand on YouTube, then they would potentially get in legal trouble because of that. And so with that being said, they put in rules in place to avoid that, which then sort of they in order to cover all of the potential users that do this sort of stuff, it affects more people than it necessarily needs to. And then with the appeals process as it is, and with the ambiguity of what fair use is as well, some videos that may be fair use end up being even after appeal process, not considered as such. Like for instance, your example that you can't, like, even taking just a small clip of One Piece is not a substitute for reading One Piece, and so therefore it could potentially be argued for fair use, but you would never win that.
But I remember when I had a copyright strike from a video that I only used old panels totally, and I've got a copyright strike, and then I thought, fuck, I'm not stealing anyone's job. I'm making my video, my reviewing, my thoughts. Then I just put in YouTube One Piece, and search. The first video was a video with millions of views from the entire episode of the Gear Force. So that's so stupid. I mean, my video that I don't monetize, it was my creation, my work. I spent time doing them. They were copyright striked, and I can Google the first option is a whole episode, and it was monetizing millions of views. It was monetized, and that's something that kind of makes me sad, and seeing people that make content take time in their routine to make videos for YouTube and produce content that got copyright strikes, and we see videos from years ago from whole episodes on YouTube and nothing happens. So that's what kind of boring.
So one thing I want to throw in here potentially is that just because an ad is on the video doesn't mean the user who made the video or posted the video is actually monetized it. It could just be that the clip was then auto-claimed or manually claimed by Toei itself and then monetized to Toei. So there's no guarantee there that the person who posted the video is actually making any money off of it. And so with that being said, the difference usually is whether it's monetized or not. If you weren't monetized, then I don't know. There's so much sketchy things that happen with the whole copyright system. I'm honestly extremely curious as to whether, I saw a video about this also recently, but there are people in the out there who are able to pose as companies without being those companies, and then copyright strike people's videos. This actually exists. Now, did that happen for your video? I can't say for certain, but that kind of shit does happen. But I don't know exactly why yours would have been targeted if it wasn't monetized. It's just another example of YouTube fucking up, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen a slight change as far as the copyright system, honestly. It's been more content ID claims where Toei is making money off the videos instead of just, putting a copyright strike on them. So, like, right. I'm sure that, 1 Million Gear 4 video, Toei probably put a content ID claim on it. So they're making money off the video themselves.
Right. Exactly. I had a video talking about Monkey D. Dragon's, future Devil Fruit, and then I used scenes from the anime where it showed him sort of controlling winds in the Sabo filler arc, sort of, or it wasn't, that particular scene wasn't filler, but that episode, and it was actually automatically claimed because of the clip by Toei, and then monetized for them. And then I actually appealed it because it was in fair use, and they just didn't do anything at all. There's just nothing happened, no response. After 30 days, it went away. But after that point in time, then the monetization, I guess, it stays with them. I'm not exactly sure, but after those 30 days of me not profiting off of my fair use video.
I have a question, Blue Boy. Did you use any audio in that clip?
Don't remember. I could watch it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? The most recognizable thing about the content ID is the audio. Once you get rid of the audio, I mean, you can pretty much guarantee you won't get your monetization away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal, but it's just Go ahead.
Was it Marco?
No.
Brago, do you want to say something?
I was saying with the content ID, I've seen it's been some of my videos have gotten content ID claimed manually. I guess somebody went on a video and then they just claimed it. And with the content ID system, it's really hard to actually win one of those. As far as once they claim the money and they claim the video making money off the video, if you appeal it, it rarely comes back in your favor if you have any One Piece content in the video.
Yeah,
so I normally just let those slide.
I was able to remove a strike, but I guess I was lucky,
Yeah, the strikes are pretty easy. I've seen people got strikes removed for live reactions with the whole episode in it. So I don't think the strikes.
Live reactions.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But those with the whole episodes in it, they've gotten the strikes removed. So I think if you have a small panel and you do a claim for a copyright strike, I don't see an issue. For them
so let's move on to a different topic. We've been talking about copyright strikes for a while now. Going back to the chapter and the whole Shanks scenario and everything, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that what we saw on this cover page is actually going to be important in the future? Some sort of foreshadowing to plot events later on?
I think so.
I've tried really hard to look for cactus in One Piece or something, but actually I wasn't able to find any clue of where are they. And actually, One Piece got some very few female characters, so we don't have many options for marriage. So I guess it will be something that will surprise us, something that we can't really predict now. I think it will play a role in the future.
Have a funny one.
Yeah,
that we were talking about in the stream we were having. It was that we haven't seen Lucky Roo on the cover pages. Yeah. And they were saying the female in One Piece that wants to get married the most, Lola. So Lucky Roo is actually marrying Lola. I see the Reaper just typed it in the chat, but yeah. So it's Lucky Roo marrying Lola.
Well, I mean, I feel like Lucky Roo and Lola would actually be a legitimate
exactly
couple.
Right.
Now I'm imagining, Sanji's wedding, and suddenly Shanks enter the ceremony with Lucky Roo and Lola.
Yeah, that's how Shanks comes back into the story.
And Shanks stops the marriage.
Wedding is over.
He stops the marriage. Anyone that wants to get married has to marry me.
That's funny. But yeah, no, outside of that ridiculous idea, which I honestly hope is true, but outside of that, yeah, I agree. Like a lot of people are coming to conclusions about like possibilities, and for the most part, I see nothing. I see absolutely nothing. Like I feel like it's going to be important. Like a marriage itself is interesting, but like I don't see any details that like honestly convince me of what's going on there and its importance.
Yeah, it was cool seeing Shanks though. We haven't seen Shanks in so long, and then just seeing him.
Yeah, I was about to say it, because if I'm not mistaken, it's the very first time we've seen Shanks since the time skip. Am I wrong? I think it's the first time. So it's kind of symbolic, At least we know he's not dead or he's not without a leg,
Yeah.
So
yeah. He's not dead.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking like, so now we've seen that Kaido is actually like making an army with devil fruits. We've seen that Big Mom is allying with like powerful people. But what is Shanks doing? He's at a wedding. Like I really don't get this, Yonko.
Right.
Joyboy, can you give Raizo the theorist a link to this chat if you want to?
Yeah. Raizo, check there.
Oh, Raizo, cool, right.
You can go back to what Nathan was saying.
But yeah, for a while I was thinking Shanks was probably chasing Blackbeard. To try to I don't know, maybe Blackbeard is at a point where Shanks feels like he has to stop him because he's acquiring so much power as far as drug fruits and things like that. So maybe that's what he's doing. Some people kind of view Shanks as the gatekeeper, where he kind of, I don't know, he evaluates the candidates for Pirate King, and I guess Blackbeard is someone that he doesn't respect, so he's trying to take care of him. But I don't know, maybe that's when the clash versus Shanks and Blackbeard happens, and a lot of people predict that he probably dies during that clash as well. But I think he has to meet with Luffy before then. What do you guys think?
Definitely. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be the case. Nothing really has to be the case. But for me, if Luffy doesn't ever, even if it's on Shanks' deathbed and he's not quite dead yet, but he's dying, Luffy's got to return the hat to him. I feel like that's just like in my head one of those moments in the future of One Piece that just has to occur.
We need that moment for sure. We need that moment. Either Shanks, Shanks is dying and he says, you know what, you've earned the hat, it's yours now. You don't have to return it. I acknowledge that you're a great pirate, or some interaction between Luffy and Shanks. Because if Shanks dies and they never meet again, then that's pretty, I don't know, that would suck.
Well, I really like the theory saying that Luffy will give the straw to Shanks' kid.
I mean, that's so far in the future. Like, I could definitely see it being the case. Like, Goldie Roger gave it to Shanks, Shanks gave it to Luffy, Luffy's going to give it to somebody else. Like, I see that. But, like, being specific about who it's going to be, I mean, I don't know. I kind of get some Harry Potter vibes, honestly, from that with the whole, like, after the series is all over, all of a sudden all the people have kids with everyone else and they're all named the same thing. It's just kind of one of those, like, cheesy endings that, I don't know.
Naruto effect?
Well, it depends. I think it really depends. Like for like Naruto and Bleach, I didn't really like it, but in One Piece, considering like that inherited will is a very important theme, I think it kind of makes sense.
What's kind of weird in how they normally do those, in those shows, is that like all the kids are always the same age. And it's just like, all right, that's not believable. And then the names are so similar. I just don't know.
Right.
That's
actual question. Better. I have extensive thoughts on like what Shanks is actually doing in the New World. But so we have Whitebeard, and it's pretty clearly implied at this point that Whitebeard wasn't actually trying to like find the One Piece or anything. He wasn't interested in finding Raptor or the One Piece. He was just sort of looking for his like family, right, in the New World. And at the same time, like, he was acting as an obstacle that other people couldn't triumph. Like, if you wanted to become the Pirate King, you had to get through Whitebeard, even though Whitebeard wasn't necessarily interested in it, and nobody could do that. And then so with Shanks as well, Shanks also seems to say a lot of the things that Whitebeard says. Like, he gave, his arm to the new era, sort of implies sort of thinking into the future. Like I'm also looking for sort of that future that Roger was looking for, as like Whitebeard was talking about, and his whole like One Piece speech before he died, things of that nature. And so honestly, I think Shanks is in the New World for the same reason that Whitebeard is or was there in the past, which is not necessarily. I don't think that he's in particular looking to become like find the One Piece or like. I think literally he's there as an obstacle again for all these pirates that Roger lured into the sea for them to try and overcome, so that you can sort of select the right guy to be the one to find the One Piece. That's sort of the impression that I have of the situation.
Yeah, I agree with that. It seems that way because I mean, all the other Yonko, they're doing something. They're acquiring power. They're trying to, become Pirate King, Pirate Queen, and it seems that Shanks is just enjoying life, and maybe he's trying to root out the fakes, and like you said, find the true Pirate King. That makes the most sense right now, based on what we've seen from Shanks, because he just seems to be just relaxing and chilling all the time. But someone asked if all the other Yonko, we saw Big Mom, she has this hatched devil fruit. Kaido, he supposedly can't die, and Blackbeard with the 2 devil fruits. What does Shanks have to kind of combat these guys? That's crazy.
I mean,
just thinking about it.
Well, I mean, I think Hockey is the most overpowered force in the story. Like having an awesome devil fruit is really cool and all, but if you've like literally mastered Hockey to the point of perfection, if your Hockey is better than everyone else in the world, then I imagine you can pretty much take on anyone, because Hockey specifically counteracts all devil fruit moves.
Right.
So if your Hockey is strong enough, doesn't matter what their devil fruit power is, you won't be affected by it. And so with that being said, it then comes down to Hockey versus Hockey. And again, if your Hockey is better, then it's implied that for the most part you would win. Obviously no guarantees, like matchups, things of that nature, random circumstances. But yeah. So then with that being said, it's possible that Shanks just has that overpowered Hockey. That's honestly what I believe. Although if he had a double fruit, that'd be pretty cool as well. I don't hate the idea.
Yeah, a lot of people actually hate that idea that Shanks has a devil fruit. They kind of look at Shanks as a staple of like not having a devil fruit. And then, he said to Luffy, he was so upset at Luffy eating the devil fruit, and if Shanks had one, it kind of be, I don't know, hypocritical in a way.
One of the things I love most in Cracker is that his introduction to the story shows how shitty devil fruits can be very useful, and having a devil fruit is not something that you need, that you require in order to be strong. I know we have Garp, we have other strong fighters without devil fruits, but Cracker, by this time entering the story, show us how really the most important thing is you yourself being strong without the need of the devil fruits. I mean, even the admirers, the Aokiji and Akainu, without the devil fruits, they would still be strong because they are fucking strong, And I mean, one thing that I think somewhat often about all of this is how exactly would NL do in the new world? How would he perform because Luffy beat him quite easily. When he attacked NL. I mean, we have lots of Haki users in New World, so I mean, we have, judging by NL pre-time skip, we have plenty of characters that would one-shot NL. Luffy beat him somewhat easily, without the need of gear seconds. Luffy not even had gear seconds, I mean, Rabelucci would one-shot, and also, I mean, how would he do in the new world? It's something I always keep in my mind. No, she not even knew. I mean, NL had mantra, observation haki, but NL not even knew that somebody would be possible to beat him, to hit him. So, as he didn't imagine that Luffy would have haki, so that means that he don't know haki, So.
I mean, I think all the characters have powered up to a point that they can survive in the new world, even Bellamy, right? And we see that Rob Lucci was fighting against Sabo in the Film Glow trailer as well, right? So,
Yeah.
Enel you need to think of Enel as a new person instead of the person that we used to know him before. That's the approach. I think it's the best to look at how Enel would do in the new world.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
Heisen's
he'll come
here.
back with hockey. Yeah, he should come back with hockey armband at least, and I think he's gonna be a monster personally. When he comes back, he faced Luffy. I mean Zoro and Sanji, and you know those guys are pretty strong. He really took care of them pretty easily.
I have a quick question for you all. Which One Piece character you're cheering most to see in the story again? I mean, we have lots of characters. We have, I don't know, Enel, we have Jin, we have Lucci. I know we've seen Lucci, but it didn't count. It was too briefly. Who are you waiting to see again soon? We have Blackbird. You know, we have lots of characters.
Yes.
I think Jing.
Oh, Rise
I
Up.
want to say
Wait.
Jin and
Whoa, Raizo.
Yeah.
Is it Raizo?
No,
Hey,
it's
is this-
fucking It's Kinemon.
Is this your first stream ever, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, I should put in the title, Raizo the Theorist voice revealed.
That will bring more clicks than your own.
Oh, yeah. You get so many views like that.
Right? You're famous, bro. But anyway, to a different topic. Raizo, do you have anything you want to say about anything that we've been talking about over the course, or whatever?
Also, should answer Marco's question.
I totally shipped the Rue and Lola thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Got the support. You should do a theory, man. Find the connections.
Find a connection.
Alright, I'll do it this week. I'll do it.
All right.
This Friday.
So-
Watch out for it.
All right, so I want to bring this up. So I don't know if I'm like on an island all by myself, but like I look at pretty much every single One Piece channel out there on YouTube, and like nobody is talking about Big Mom and like this last chapter where she talks about Luffy. And so what she says is really interesting. She's like, I was kind of expecting better. Like I have my thoughts about this, but like, does anybody else have any thoughts on this line whatsoever? Where she's sort of like, kind of like, it seems as though testing Luffy, or in some way, kind of hoped that he would reach her.
Yeah, I noticed that when she's kind of expecting something. I think his bravado at Fishman Island and the stuff he's been doing, it's like she's giving him like some strength. It's like, let me see how much you can accomplish with what I'm giving you. But I think eventually she's gonna crush him. But like you said, she's just testing him. But I think she's interested to see what he can do. At least she's intrigued with Luffy. At least that's what I got from that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just really frustrates me because like as I read the chapter, like I focus in on these details because they like really interest me, and then I watch Roger's Base and King of Lightning and Sawyer Seven Mage and One World HD and Alpha Too Late, and like nobody is talking about Big Mom at all.
Thank you for
It
not
doesn't seem
mentioning Anime Fan Talk. Thank you for not mentioning him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think because of what happened in the chapter, that was kind of overlooked.
That's true. That's
Everything
true.
else that happened, everybody was so hype about seeing Cracker, his new form, and what was basically the main topic was like, how strong is Cracker and how much does Luffy have to grow? And everybody kind of just overlooked the whole. I mean, the Mirror World thing was kind of mentioned, but everybody was talking about Cracker, just Cracker overwhelming
Right.
Gear Force supposedly.
Actually, one of the nice things about One Piece is that we always have so much material in all the chapters that we overlook many things. I mean, well, what about Brook? I really think that this is the time for Brook to shine. So I expect big things from Brook now. Maybe I don't know, learning something from his past, and even Pedro. Pedro is an interesting character. So I don't know. There's always things outshining each other.
Yeah, because they're heading right to the castle, right? So it seems that I don't know if Brook lays eyes on the vent smoke and then he remembers something. Then we go into a flashback about what happened. Also, Pedro. Yeah, people are speculating that Pedro could have been the fourth commander or something like that. I don't know.
Those were ridiculous.
Yeah, I just want this out there.
I remember seeing a theory some time ago saying that maybe Pedro's secret identity was Sanji. I remember seeing it.
Oh, yeah?
Where was it? It wasn't any of you, right?
Yeah, no.
But
Secret
it
identity,
was so
Sanji.
funny. It was really funny.
That was Beck, I think.
I don't
might
know,
have
but
been.
it's funny.
It honestly might have been Beck. Seriously, I think I do remember reading that, but I don't know. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't remember it. But it was so funny. I mean,
How would that work? Shadow clone?
Ninjutsu, man.
Putin? Oh, Rise will probably do it.
I remember. I know every time a new One Piece chapter is out, there's always lots of One Piece theories that are so insane because people didn't stop and breathe and think about it and research. I remember the first time we've seen Wanda, we've got lots and lots and lots of theories saying that she was Nami transformed and that kind of stuff. And of course, it was impossible to begin with. Last time we've seen Nami, she was already without those clothes. We've seen this, people will sometimes get too involved in the vibe of that chapter that forget all the rest of One Piece.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like at this point for me, like I'm not honestly. If I did like a live reaction to One Piece chapters, it wouldn't go so well because I'm not the kind of person that like notices details right away. Usually, it's not until the second read through that I actually like get something from the chapter, and so they would be completely like useless for me. But at the same time, a lot of people judge your theory based on how original it is. Are you the first one to say it? And if you're not, then somebody else said this beforehand. So then you're kind of pressured into if you're a theorist. Especially if it's something that you believe in, you're doing it before other people, and sometimes that means putting out something that isn't fact-checked 100% yet. I try my best to fact-check as much as I can, but it's literally impossible to be just 100% and do all the necessary research.
I remember the first time when the chapter about the road poneglyphs, the 4 road poneglyphs was out. I had lots of ideas, and I've done research, and I've done a video really quickly. But when I was about to upload it, my videos are texts and music, and it kind of consumes a lot of time to do. And when I was about to upload it, I've seen Roger's base video, and I've seen Sawyer video, and I've seen lots of videos, that are kind of camera and microphone, and they all thought the same thing about me. Then I thought, well, what about now? Will I upload this fucking video? They basically already talked about it all. I ended up uploaded it. I had a few original ideas, but in the end, it was some not that original as I thought it would be.
So as a side note to all this, a random thought occurred to me. Sorry, I'm going to divert topic here. So this last chapter we know was called like Broper, right, or Bropper. And so in the actual chapter itself, this occupied like 2 panels, like maybe a page of the entire chapter. There was like a ton more things that were hype that happened, including like Cracker, having a new form, Big Mom talking about what's going on. Then we have the Vince books, all the Vince books arrived. That seems like a prime candidate for a title, and yet Oda decided to call it Brother Chopper. Do you think that there's potentially more to this whole scene that doesn't meet the eye?
Yeah, I think it's just that Oda is trying to tell us that the mirror world is gonna be important later down the line or something like that. So maybe that's why he intentionally did that. Yeah.
Maybe he really likes the word. Like, he thinks it's really funny.
Or maybe Roper was yeah. Roper.
We can't overlook that as a possibility.
Definitely there's more things to it, but it's really hard to pinpoint at this stage.
Yeah.
What do you want the chapter to be called?
Well,
I don't know.
Crackers.
I felt like all the Vince smoke finally arriving on the island was like the biggest thing of the chapter. It was also the end of the chapter, and that could have easily been the title of the chapter as a whole. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like try and like exactly name it, but the idea of all the Vince smoke arriving, I felt like would have been the title. Honestly, my 2 cents after reading the chapter, especially given how ridiculous the name Broker was in the first place.
By the way, do you know like how Usopp and the rest of the Straw Hats have the title Usulando and stuff like that? I think it's the same thing here. For some reason, I don't know. That's the feeling, or that's the vibe I get from it.
Oh, okay.
Still within this theme of the title, proper, you know, One Piece from time to time have some chapters with the title not really related, and it's quite strange, you know. I remember when I was making a research on a theory that I ended up in chapter 158. The name of the chapter is Full Moon. It's a chapter from the Chopper arc, you know, Hill Look. And actually, there's no meaning for the chapter to be called Full Moon. You know, the whole chapter is about Chopper. If I'm not mistaken, it's the chapter that Chopper became a Nakama. And, you know, there's nothing about Full Moon.
There was probably a full moon in the sky or something. Like there was one panel with the full
But
moon.
you know, there were so many nice things to put in as a title, and the title it has nothing to do. And I remember that I'm always reading One Piece. Always, when I finish it, I started reading it again. And right now I'm in Marineford. I'm about to finish Marineford. And I remember that this last time I've reread One Piece, I've got many chapters that the title doesn't mean anything. By anything, I mean anything. You know, it's something totally random. I think this chapter is kind of that too, because I agree, proper. You know, so many nice things happening, and proper, it doesn't make sense at all.
Definitely. Yeah, also something I wanted to bring up that's not necessarily related to anything that happened in the latest chapters, but I don't know if everyone here watched my last video. I know Raizo did.
Yeah, the gun.
Yeah, it's the Gear 4th or whatever. And so I just want to say this straight up. I fucked up on a couple points. It didn't actually matter to the theory as a whole, but like I can't even watch the video now because of like how I messed up on it. But so I said in the video that King Kong gun is a combination of Gear 3rd and Gear 4th. And there's actually pretty substantial information to suggest that this isn't the case. That actually King Kong gun is just Luffy adding more air into his muscles, so it's like an extension of Gear 4th. Because he doesn't actually bite his thumb, which is what he always does with Gear 3rd. He bites his muscle again, which is like what he does with Gear 4th. So then King Kong gun would not be a combination of Gear 3rd and Gear 4th. It would just be like
just a new attack. Just a
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I noticed also with King Kong gun, when Luffy's doing it, it's more the devil fruit marks on his back kind of join.
Right.
You know, so I don't know if that's implying he's using more of his devil fruit or whatever it is, but
more hot.
Yeah, more hot.
Actually, you should watch the video. You should. I mentioned that specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, I plan on watching that.
So basically what Joe Boy says that the more hockey he uses is to keep the air inside because he has troubles letting the air go out. So the more hockey he uses, the more air he consumes in Gear 4.
Yeah, so basically... Yeah, hold on.
My question is, Joe Boy, do you think there's a form in Gear 4th where he does not use any air at all?
So isn't that the point of Gear 4th, though? Gear 4th, in essence, is Luffy blowing air into his muscles. That is what makes Gear 4th, and not another gear. So if Luffy were to not do that, then it wouldn't be Gear 4th. Right? That's just that's how it makes sense to me. If you take a whole completely different move that isn't in essence Gear 4th, then how can you call it Gear 4th?
Yeah, but do you know like how the gears are based on the animals he trained with? And you know, like there's a tiger, there's a gorilla and stuff like that. So what's the tiger gonna be like? That's maybe, you know, an advanced version of Gear 2nd. I'm not sure, so that's what I'm asking. What do you think?
So I'm not sure if you misspoke or whatever, but as far as I'm aware, the theory that's out there, which is probably true, is that the animals that Luffy fought on Rusukaina, which is the time skip island that he fought on, the animals there inspired the names of his techniques in Gear 4th. We have like Leo Bazooka and like King Kong gun. So Leo meaning lion. There's a lion on the island. King Kong is the gorilla. So there's the gorilla. But as far as his actual like gears, Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd, and Gear 4th, I'm not aware that they're specifically like how Gear 2nd and gear third would relate to the animals on the island.
Have you ever heard about the theory that the Luffy attacks are after some real-life war tanks? Have you ever read it? I remember I've seen it in a Brazilian community video. I don't know if it's famous internationally.
So it's based on real life attacks?
On real life, I don't know how to call it in English, but the tanks from war tanks, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah. Someone did post that in the chat when I was in the reaction. Like his last attack that he did in the new chapter. What was it? Forgot the name of the attack, but it's based on a tank from somewhere.
Well, actually, there are lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
I'll try looking for that. Well, you can keep on talking. I'll search it. Let me see.
But yeah, so basically what I said in my video was, so we know that as Luffy fights in Gear 4th, he has air, or sometimes people call it steam, that escapes from like his body as a whole and then out of his mouth, etc. But what's like most interesting to me is that when Luffy's Gear 4th ends, he has no haki. So he has no ability to use haki afterwards. And I think it's at the point in time in which he loses haki, like that Gear 4th ends, which suggests that haki itself is keeping that air within his muscles, which creates Gear 4th, right? So like once he runs out of haki, then he can no longer keep that air in his muscles. It all escapes, and then therefore Gear 4th has now ended. And so we also see, like you just brought up, with how his like his haki tattoos or whatever they are, his haki marks change whenever he uses King Kong gun. What's interesting about that is that Luffy is a lot bigger when he uses King Kong gun. There's just more surface area. And so if we just sort of like think about haki in general as it being harder to cover the entirety of your body than it would be to cover like a specific spot, the bigger that you get, the harder it would be to cover your body. And so then, therefore, as he got bigger, he would need to change the shape of his haki or extend it further in order to maintain that air, keep it within his body. And so then, with this being said, I think I said, like, I totally lost my train of thought here, but the premise of the video essentially was that Luffy needs a form of Gear 4th in which he can actually maintain it. That's really the one weakness Gear 4th has. He has to be able to use it longer. And so, in order to use Gear 4th longer, it would seem necessary to either A, improve your haki, or B, just use less haki. Not tap out your resources trying to keep all this air within your body. And the easiest way to do that would be just to put less air in the first place. If you do like a duller version of Gear 4th, where you, instead of going all out and becoming Giant Luffy, Bound Man, if you just put less there, you would still get stronger because the same effects would apply, but then you wouldn't need as much haki to cover your body, and then also just in general there would be less air there, so you would need like sort of like less haki force, random thing that I just created just now, to keep it like within your body.
No, it makes sense. The Reaper just reminded me, I had mentioned that Luffy, based on how he got, I don't know, owned by Cracker in his base form, he probably needs to work on his base a bit, because if he works on his base, that would in turn increase the abilities of all his forms. Because right now his base is getting demolished by just the molding of Cracker's Devil Fruit.
Well, think about it like this: like Luffy is using, so all of these techniques that he has is reliant on his Devil Fruit. But there's people that we speculate, like Shanks and like Goldie Roger and Garp, who do it just with their own bodies. Garp even being blood related to Luffy, so they don't have any gears because they're not rubbermen, and yet they are considered to be some of the strongest people in the world. Right. So then why can't Luffy do that?
Guys, I shared an image in the chat here. Actually, it's in Portuguese. Most of it is in Portuguese, but I guess you can understand. Basically, the image shows 4 animals, Luffy in the island with 4 animals, and in the upper part we have 4 real road war tanks, and below we have 2 of attacks and 2 possible attacks from Luffy. It's a theory. I've seen it in the Brazilian community in a while, but by the time that he did those attacks, and I don't know what your thoughts about it. I don't really have an opinion about it.
So wait, can you say that again? I missed something.
Oh, actually, I've put on the chat here an image from a possible inspiration for Luffy's attacks based on real life war tanks. I don't know if it's how it's called in English, but
So like a tank, like a military tank.
yeah, that's it.
We can't open the picture.
You can't.
You put it on Google Drive, so you have to give us the authorization.
Oh fuck! No, let me.
Can you share your screen?
No, let me see if you can watch from this link.
Okay, anyway, guys. I'm gonna wrap up this stream in the next like 10 minutes or so. I got shit I need to do, so just keep that in mind.
We know. I'm just kidding.
Shut the fuck up. I got important business. Of the utmost importance.
All right, just ask Q&A real quick.
Because he's older.
Wait, Jorba, did you already do the face reveal?
Yeah, I did that early in the video. I don't know. Like, everyone's asking for a face reveal, and it's just like, I don't know. It's not something I'm interested in. So it's at the beginning of this video.
Make a face reveal. What do you think of Ryzo?
Ryzo's gonna do a face reveal as well.
Jorba, what got you into making
maybe next week
series?
I'm way too opinionated, and I talk too much, and therefore I need to share my opinion in order to, I guess, I don't want to say, it's just like it's something that I really enjoy doing, just in general. Like, I read one piece, I get an impression of it, I want to share it with other people, and then when I started going on the forums and then comparing sort of my opinions with the opinions of others, and I learned new things, I kind of figured out that if I were to do theories, that I would have a perspective that isn't overly common. And so with that being said, I was like, okay, well, people might like this. And then so I started making theories, people liked it, and I was like, okay, well, this is honestly fun. So then just sort of kept going from there.
So, guys, I think I really should be going now. I mean, it's already 1 a.m. here in Brazil, and I need to teach physics to some teenagers tomorrow. I need to have some sleep. But before I go, I'd like to talk a little with Joy Boy, and I mean, I remember when you not even had the art you have now in your channel, that you used to comment on my videos, and you comment a lot actually, and you had this desire to become a YouTuber and a One Piece YouTuber, and you started making theories, and some of them were with slides, were not voice, and I remember then you started to gain subscribers and that all, and I saw talent in you. It was your videos were really good, and then I remember giving you some advices. You should make a identity to your channel. You should make a banner. You should have a logo. Maybe you can ask for some subscribers of yours to do so. And you've done these things, and your content went much better. I mean, you are improving. We can see that you are still improving, even though your videos are still great. Your last videos really were awesome, and now, I mean, yesterday I was giving advices to you, and now you got 10K, and I mean, I have 7, so you passed me by far. So I'd like to say that congratulations for the quality of your channel, and I mean, that's it.
Someone has to start the song slow.
I'd like to congratulate you, man. 10K, fuck you.
It's a big deal, dude. Like just imagine like all your subscribers as real people, like legit real people, like standing around you. 10,000 people is a fuck ton of people. That is so many people. I'm basically like the general of a small army, in a sense, which is I don't know, it's crazy. I really appreciate it, Marco. Also, side note to everybody in the chat, you need to check out Marco. Marco One Piece Theories. theorist on YouTube. If you haven't already yet, I assume most of you have, but if you haven't, you need to check him out. Also, check out Rhizo the theorist, who's also in this chat. He has some of the most original theories out there. Just one of the best, in my opinion, from originality standpoint. You're not going to find content like Rhizo's on many other channels. You should subscribe to Nathan Law Company. He was inactive for a little bit of time. He's also in this video here. But his kind of stuff is like recently going in a more analytic side. So if you really are looking for a more like scholarly approach to One Piece, that's definitely a channel you're going to find interesting. And then I would assume the majority of you know about Brago's streams and his live reactions. I specifically want to shout out
hype guys. You better check those out.
I'm going to shout out his freaking theory channel. His theory channel is really good. It has like 300 subscribers. Every single one of you need to go subscribe to it. I think it's called BDA Law. Is that right, Brago?
Yeah, that's it. BDA Law. Yeah.
And just watch the videos. Like, I don't even need to tell you to subscribe. Just watch a video, and I'm pretty sure you're going to subscribe. But yeah, I think I covered everyone here. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, Marco. If you need to go, dude.
Yo, where's my shout out, you little shit?
Hey. All right. Everyone subscribe to Nolan of Earth.
No, not Nolan. Got the channel
wrong. Actually, I'd like to say that the video made in collaboration with Nathan and Joy Boy was really good. I loved that format. You definitely should do that again.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, the one. Yeah,
that was really good. I mean, the whole format, the whole mechanics of the video were really cool. You know.
Wait, what video are we talking about? Sorry, I spaced out for a second.
The Brook video, Brook's Dream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nathan, with Nathan. Yeah.
When Nathan turned into Joy Boy.
Yeah. At first I started watching it. I'm like, this is Joy Boy. Okay.
That's funny. That's all on Nathan, man. Nathan did everything. I pretty much like the goal that I had for that particular video was like, okay, well, people like what I'm doing somehow. Like, I don't know exactly what it is that I'm doing, but if I just like copy that in a way, but using like Nathan's script, that's pretty much. I'm not even the best voice actor though. Brago has the voice. So he's the one that you need to call for that.
so guys, I really need to go now. And Joy Boy and suggesting you definitely should make a video about what I've just said earlier about Big Mom having some kind of connection with the soul of the devil fruits. You know, I think in the format of your videos it would be much better than mine. So I'm not making video about it, but I guess you should do this discussion video. I think the viewers would like it. So
for sure. I mean, I can definitely explain it in a way that that'll get people at least on the train of thought there. That's really interesting.
You have this talent. So I'll wait for this video. So guys, a pleasure to be here. So Joy Boy, Brago, everybody. See ya.
This was
awesome. Bye. Yeah, so I think this is probably a good time to call it quits. What do you guys think?
When Marco leaves, we have to leave too.
I mean, the hype is gone, dude.
The thrill is gone.
Yeah. I just have to figure out how to end the stream. I don't know.
Also, subscribe to Troll One Piece Theories.
Oh, Troll, yeah. I forgot about Troll. My bad.
Best channel out there.
I fucked up. I hope you still love me. I still need to figure out.
That's a troll.
Yeah, but fucking, how do I end this? God damn it.
Wait. I just wanted to say I have a super hype video about Bobbin coming tomorrow, so make sure to watch out for that, everybody.
Bobbin, nice.
Bobbin, yep.
All right, cool deal. All right, stopping broadcast now.